Hello Ram fan, my name is Jeff Garner and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Cleveland Rams Football. As always, I'm joined by the head coach of the Cleveland Rams. I'm here with Mr. Coach. I start calling you that, Mr. Coach Scott Riley. Scott, thanks for being here again this week. Rams victorious this past Friday night, Coach, beginning Greater Neuse River 3A conference play on the road at East Wake. Final score 35-14. I'll be honest with you, Coach, in my opinion, I definitely want to hear yours. In my opinion, I thought the best overall game, offense, defense, special teams that you played this year.
Yeah, I thought, a lot of stuff came together, and that's what we try to do coming out of the bye week. You want things to look sharp, and we preached all week. There's no do-overs. There's no what ifs at this time of the year when you get into conference play. It's kind of do or die.
Well, they certainly played well. Rams and the Warriors kind of feel each other out. I thought in the first quarter exchanging a TD each, but the Rams explode in the second quarter. 3 scores hold the Warriors to a single score. Rams take a 28-14 lead to the break. Again, great first half, I thought, Coach, across the board too. I mean, again, the Rams, again, with that unorthodox offense that, I guess unorthodox, I don't know if that's the correct word or not, but maybe not quite as common an offense, let me say that. That we're used to seeing, but came in that first half after feeling each other out a little bit and thought they did well.
Yeah, I thought, defense played really well. Offense churned up a lot of yards. We would like to see a few more points out of all those yards, but I thought, overall a real good performance. Some things we still need to improve upon. But we're still early enough in the year we can keep working on it. But a lot of good things, as you said, in that game.
Again, take the 28-14 lead to the break. Rams defense then comes out. I'd love to hear what you talked about that in that break, Coach. But the Rams defense comes out, pitches a shutout, holding the Warriors scoreless in the second half. Again, I thought the story of the game in the first half was the offense. I thought the story of the game in the second half was the defense.
Yeah, I really, going back watching the tape, the defense played pretty consistent throughout the game. Both touchdowns came off of the interception that we had. They gave them a real short field. They're a tough team to defend on a short field. And then the long kickoff return that set up a short field again. So the second half, the key was just getting better field position and keeping them out of the end zone. I thought they played. We held them under 100 yards. Every
both
goal,
sides,
100 yards rushing. I think they had 89 yards rushing and 70-some passing, which is more than they usually pass for. But our goal is less than 100 yards rushing and less than 150 passing. Usually, if you get both those things, you get a shutout. So the points didn't take care like that because of the short field, but definitely did well in the yardage, and then we created 4 turnovers. So that's our threshold. We're always trying to get to about 4 a game, and when you do that, you usually come away with a win, and they did.
Victory improves the Rams' record to 4-3 overall, but most importantly, as we said, Coach, 1-0 in conference play. Statistically, again, you've already mentioned a few of those. Rams come away with 487 yards total offense compared to the Warriors only 154. Of that 487, Rams 226 through the air, 261 on the ground, pretty consistent there. Your Ram defense, Coach, as we've already said, holds that Warrior offense. I had 73 passing, 81 on the ground, give or take. Here's a stat that stuck out for me, Coach, for the game. Rams convert 8 of 14 third downs on the night. That's 57%. 2 of 3 converting fourth down, 67%. That tells me the Rams offense were doing what they needed to do to stay on the field, to move the change, get into that scoring position and win the game.
Yeah, like I said, I thought they did a good job moving the ball. One thing we want to clean up is a few of those penalties because some of them were unnecessary, and it puts us behind the chains, and it's what ended up killing a few of those drives, particularly in the second half.
Well, as we do each Coach, I've already pulled up some plays here, and I'd love for you to take us through here. Again, I'm sure there's a couple that you can already guess upon, but the first one, right off the bat, Coach, you win the toss, defer to the second half. Here's the kickoff, and the Rams get great field position off of this. Yeah,
good. Good start. They didn't have anyone in the middle of the field, so we tried to pooch it right there. I believe one of the guys, assuming that we had pooched it, was looking to block, and the ball ends up dropping right in front of him, and then no one's able to get on it except for I think it's Dakota that gets that one there. So great way to start the game. Good kick, great ball placement. That's exactly where we want the ball on that type of kick. mostly just to pin them right there. But
It obviously
the ball
causes
hits the
some
ground.
confusion, like I said. I mean, I think that was the big thing. I don't, and I'm sure you have, off the top of my head, I don't remember a pooch sky, whatever you want to say, right in the middle of the field, so to speak. It's usually one side or the other, but I thought that kind of caught him off guard.
Right, and it was just a vacant space, so we tried to kick it right there, and something we practiced with. But you're right, we haven't done that in a game before. But a great kick, great execution, and it's good to defer and get the ball.
Absolutely.
You start both halves with the ball.
Yep.
It puts you at a pretty big advantage.
All right, Coach, 5 plays later, Rams get on the board with Griffin Ducks taking up right where he left off from the last game.
Yep. So he had gotten to the end zone until last week, and he got in the end zone twice last week, and then does a great job here. We did a lot more tight end and double tight end sets this week in the game plan, but we were able to create a lot of one-on-one matchups with that. So I thought Darius did a good job of delivering the football, and our receivers did a good job of hauling it in when we had those opportunities in the passing game. And this is definitely one of them. Good strike right there in the end zone in the windows.
Absolutely. Okay, Coach, second drive for the Warriors offense here. I pulled this play because it was what I thought to be indicative of the Rams defense all night. 10 white jerseys pursuing the ball here to bottle up the Warrior rushing attack.
Yeah, great job. And very similar to what we saw on the JV night, the night before. I showed that, we watched the JV game film with our players before the varsity plays just to learn a few things. And there were several plays with it. All 11 were right there in on the tackle. And we talked about how important that was in this game. And they did a great job of rallying to the football. Because their running backs were good.
Yes, they were. Absolutely were.
Did a great job breaking tackles, running the ball hard. So not assuming that anyone was going to make the tackle when we do it together. When you do that, you have some great defensive performances.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Kenny Watkins and I are up in the stands doing the broadcast, and so many times, I had to apologize to the fans. I said, "Look, I have no idea who's got the ball." When the Warriors were, I said, I'm just going to wait for the pile to come up. I said, so my apologies, if you're listening, but I couldn't see it, and I know you guys there, were, I won't say having trouble because you weren't. You actually had it bottled up, but I mean there was many times I just had to wait. I don't know who's got it. Who comes off the pile
with no receivers. And a bunch of running backs, line splits. It's hard to tell sometimes, and you got 22 players right there in a scrum.
All right, second quarter here, Coach. After a due touchdown, Rams kicking off again. I don't think I've ever seen a more well-executed onside kick.
Yeah, Wyatt gives us a great kick. The guys on the kickoff team do an absolutely wonderful job running down the field, taking out the guys that were in position to catch the football, and then Jamal Hampton comes up with another one. That's 2 weeks in a row he's gotten one onside kick. So Coach Jacobs and Coach Bozer do a great job with this team, getting those guys motivated to run down there and hit people and get the ball back. And getting 2 turnovers off a kickoff team is a great execution and a big boon to our defense when you can do that.
Certainly. All right, Coach, next up, still in the second period, and it's a beautiful 23-yard touchdown from Ocean to Jon Barnes.
Yeah, again, one of these double tight end sets, and to stop the run, they got to kind of cram, load the box, and it creates some one-on-one matchups out on the edge. And it was good to have Jon back from injury after the bye week. We missed him a few weeks there. Could have made a big difference in a few of those games. So good to have him back out there and showing what he can do with people covering man-to-man.
All right, still second quarter here, Coach. 1st and 10 for your offense on the Warrior 25. Not a scoring play, but I had to pull this one because it just shows the power and tenacity of your junior running back and your offensive line to move this pile forward. I just thought this was amazing.
Yeah, Tyson's a very powerful runner, very fast runner. Had a big game with over 200 yards again this week, and we challenged him right before this play that he needs to start running people over instead of making a miss, because he can do both, and there's a time for both of them, and this was the time to use his power right there.
Well, that's definitely what happened. I mean, the pile moves 10, 12 yards after the first hit. It's just an amazing effort.
And you see Colby Whitmer mixing it up in there, trying to get in on the pile. So good things right there.
Absolutely. All right, Coach, finally here, another beautiful 28-yard touchdown throw from your sophomore quarterback. This time it's Jawai Williams on the opposite end.
Yeah, great throw right here. Great, the ball drops in right where you want it. Jawai does a great job of pressing the corner inside to create the room for the ball to be thrown to the outside, and everything's just well executed there. And it looks easy. Takes a lot of work for both those guys to get that chemistry and get it going. Now that we got it, hopefully it'll continue through.
We'd love to see that, won't we?
Yep. All
right, Coach, next up, our weekly player awards. I'd love to hear who you got for us this week. I bet you I can guess a couple, but I'll give it to you.
Offensive player of the week, a lot of worthy candidates there. Yep. Darius Tyson had another big game, and O-line played well, but the offensive player of the week goes to Jon Barnes, coming back from a few-week layoff, 3 weeks he was out, and coming back there. And we just played him on offense this week, which was probably nice for him, but he'll get back in the mix on defense this coming week.
Right.
But he does a great job. It goes for over 100 yards. Receiving. A lot of the guys, the first couple of days when we were in the double tight set, and Monday and Tuesday, they think, we like to throw it too. And just because we're in double tight doesn't mean we can throw it.
That's right.
And then after the game, Darius like, I kind of like this double tight stuff. It creates some good throws.
Mismatches and stuff, yeah.
But no, he did a great job on the outside, and he's gotten a lot taller, it looks like, since he came back.
I tell you,
it's hard. Usually you can tell the difference between him and Jawai, but now they both look like they're 6'3".
I would agree with that. Again, I was talking to, doing a broadcast, Kenny and I, and we had mentioned him before the game that, we were definitely, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't looking for this kind of output from him, being off a couple of weeks or whatever, but, he definitely made a difference. I think it made the whole team better. Again, I think the connection between him and Ocean is obviously there. It was just great to have him back.
It was. And then the defensive player of the game goes to Tayvon Sutton. He's made a great improvement to our defense since he's been able to get out there with us. And this is his third game, but his second game starting.
Yep.
And he's gone for over 10 tackles.
I was going to say, last week was a monster. This week again. Yeah.
Yeah, and they started running away from him, and he'd run it down from behind. You run to him, he runs it. So he's got one of those motors at linebacker where he's going to get in on every tackle and has a great tenacity. And he's really elevated the play of all the linebackers in that attitude of I'm going to get to the ball, and then everyone else. Then it creates a competition amongst them all, so you can get the most.
Makes everybody better.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
He's made a big difference in our defense the last 2 weeks.
Great.
The special teams player of the week goes to Wyatt Covey with his kickoffs, got two good kickers, and he did a great job of placing the ball where we want it to kick off. We got the ability to call and signal and kick that ball wherever we want it, like the pooch you saw at the beginning. And those are all calls you can make, but the kicker's got to execute.
Absolutely.
The ability to put the ball wherever he wants it, the great onside, the great pooch right in the middle of the field, really was a big difference in the game. Those 2 extra possessions were big time.
Absolutely.
And then the trenches player of the week goes to Ethan Hildreth. Ethan hadn't seen a lot of playing time up until this week, and then he started and played the entire game. Defensive tackle, last he played, he was playing defensive end. So going in there against that kind of rushing attack,
I was going to say,
it was a big test for a sophomore.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he just had a motor. There's one where they throw a hitch, the safety wraps him up, the second to hit him is a defensive tackle. So great motor, just running around trying to get in on tackles. You don't expect a defensive tackle will be the second in on the tackle on pass play, but he was there right where the safety was. So linebackers have a little explaining to do why they didn't put in there. He had a great job of pursuing to the football, and overall the least amount of loafs we've had in a game. So
great,
and he kind of exemplified that in the trenches. The scout team player of the week was Jordan Harper, another player that's come back from injury, and he's been out almost a year. He got hurt in the South Granville game.
Yeah, that's been a while.
A year ago, and had a series of different shoulder injuries, and he's finally got back out, and that was his first game. And Tuesday we moved him to tight end, so he was playing defensive end and going that double tight set. We're kind of filtering through, got people, so he played a lot of offense, and he flipped over and scouted for us on offense and played the little fullback for us and did a great job of blocking Kistner and Janathan and those guys all week long, kind of midstream, just jumping in and servicing the defense like that. And then the program player of the week goes to Jay Donnelly. Another guy coming back from injury.
Yeah.
We thought we'd have him back last week. We'll have him back this week.
Yeah.
He's been out since the West Johnson game a year ago with an ACL injury, so he'll be back. And He's been out there practicing for quite a while, just getting ready to
He's got to be excited.
Ready. He is, but he's getting the program player of the week for his growth as a student.
That's great.
His probably biggest weakness was attendance, and we've really been harping on how important it is to get to school on time. And I have him first block, and he hasn't missed a day of school yet this year. And there's a lot of other players that are here every day too, but for Jay, it's a big step forward, and it really shows that he's doing the things he needs to for the program, and the program showing him.
It all matters. All matters.
He's the program player of the week for the growth he's shown. He conquered one of his weaknesses academically, and has made it a strength now.
Oh, great. Good for them. I appreciate that, Coach. Those are great choices. Okay, Coach, time to talk upcoming game this week. It's another conference game for us, obviously. This time it's at home, and it's against a foe that we know very well from our years together in the Two Rivers 3A Conference, that being the Spartans of Triple S. The Spartans bringing a 1-6 record to the contest, 0-1 in the conference thus far. The Spartans' only victory this season coming in their homecoming game against Hopton a couple of weeks ago. They actually shut out the Wildcats that week. It's 55-0. Spartans also have a new head coach this season in Mike Parrish. Parrish takes over for former coach Wes Hill, who resigned in February. Coach Parrish was the JV coach and defensive coordinator before taking the reins this season. He's actually the Spartans' fourth coach in 7 years. Triple S has won just 5 games in that time. The last Triple S winning season came in 2008, which incidentally was the last time they've been in the playoffs. But what do you know about Coach Parrish, Coach, and what can you tell us about his philosophy?
It's fairly similar to what we saw last year, being on Coach Hill's staff. They've opened it up a little more offensively. They're no longer a wing T based team, although they did some variations of that last year anyway. They're spread a little bit. You'll see 5 wides, you'll see 4 wides, you'll see 3 wides, and then they'll get into conventional I type of offense as well. So they're pretty varied in that, and they have a lot of speed and talent. We were talking, it's probably the most talented team since I think our 5th year playing. It's probably the most talented Spartan team we've faced. Still got some learning to do about execution, that kind of thing. But they definitely have the talent to win some games, and they've won one. And
certainly,
we're in overtime against West Johnson last week. Had a lot of close ones as well. So they're a fast team, and you can tell that they're starting to turn the corner.
They come in averaging about 23 points a game on offense, defensively giving up about 35. As you said, the Spartans are struggling a little bit, Coach, and on paper this one might appear to be a bit easier than others on the schedule, but on paper means absolutely nothing, especially when it's a conference game, it's a rivalry game. They're going to come to play on Friday night.
Absolutely, and I think they'll be confident. Their JVs beat ours last year, and a lot of those kids are up. Most of their starters now were starters on that JV team a year ago. So in their minds, they have that they beat us once, they can do it again. So confidence is a big factor. Right. I think they'll have confidence that they can compete, and since they've gotten conference, they were very competitive and easily could have won that game as well. So I think they'll compete, and we'll try to stay with them and as much as we can. And when you get into conference, you get county rivalry games like that, you can throw records out the door.
Absolutely.
Because everyone was playing for a playoff spot and continue their season. So a lot of emotions and a lot of energy will go into it. And
with that said, Coach, I would think that a good part will be to try to jump out quick, try to again get that confidence down a bit or whatever. If we can have a quick start, this is like we did this past week with East Wake. I think that would serve us well.
Yeah, always good to start off top.
Absolutely.
But we've done it a number of different ways. So.
Never know with the Rams fans. You never know. Okay, Ram fam, there you have it. Again, this Friday night, the Rams will be hosting Triple S at home in Greater Neuse River 3A conference play. Kickoff 7:30. It's our second of 5 conference games this season. We absolutely need to see the Ram fam in the house, just like we have been. Not only is it homecoming, Coach, it's going to be a very special night, as you know, for the Ram fam who may not be aware. I'm sure most of you are. Coach John Jacobs, very special part of the Cleveland family. He's a teacher, he's a coach in multiple sports, including football, a mentor, a husband, a father, most importantly, a friend to us all, especially to me. I know to you, Coach, he's got some very difficult health issues that he's dealing with. And Friday night, there's going to be some very special presentations in his honor, I think, to begin the game. I don't want to give it all away here because I want to leave it a surprise, but let's just suffice it to say, if you've ever attended a Ram game in your life, this is the one to be at. Would you not agree?
Absolutely. Honoring him is going to be a big part of the evening. He's poured his heart and soul into both the football, basketball, and baseball programs here at the school, as well as teaching in the school. So he's a big part of Cleveland High, and we want to honor him for everything he's accomplished here. And we hope to have a packed stand. So if we're going to do it before the game, so you guys can get here 7 o'clock and pack the stands to honor him. And we're going to have alumni that played for Jon and come down to the track. So you guys are all welcome. You spread the word that get as many people here to honor that great man as we can.
There's just no words. There really are no words. I tried to write down some things and I couldn't do it. We love you, Coach. I know the Ram fam do too, but we need you there. We need you there again. It's going to be a very special night. Football is football, and I want to win as much as anybody, and I hope we do that. But the most important thing Friday night is going to be Coach Jacobs and honoring him, as you said. And like I said, hopefully we can give him another game ball maybe when we're done or whatever. But Ram fam, we hope you'll see you there again Friday night, 7:30 kickoff. We'll certainly be there covering each play, and we'll be right back here with the coach doing what we always do. But Coach, thank you so much for your time this week. I appreciate it. Any final comments for us?
No, look forward to seeing everybody Friday night and coming back for homecoming and Jon Jacobs night.
Going to be a special night, folks. So until then, go Rams.
Thank you, buddy.